It's India versus Pakistan once again. It's not on the cricket field, it's off the field. And it's not the first time you've had this sort of tiff or a battle or a clash, whatever you'd like to call it, between India and Pakistan off the field. And even though it doesn't involve any cricketing action, but things are getting heated up. I know a lot of you might point out that it's not actually India versus Pakistan as we go along in this video. Many might say it's actually the Asian Cricket Council versus the PCB. But I'd like to point out that at the core of the issue is India versus Pakistan. Why? That you'll realize as I go through this video with you. So India versus Pakistan, and as I said, things are getting heated up, and what we're doing right here is getting you exclusive details on Sports Today. Right, so what's the core issue and where did it start? It started with, he is the BCCI secretary but also the boss of Asian Cricket Council. That's why I say India versus Pakistan. That's the overarching theme. His tweet where he says, presenting the Asian Cricket Council's pathway structure and cricket calendar for 2023 and 2024. This signals our unparalleled efforts and passion to take this game to new heights. With cricketers across countries getting up for spectacular performances, it promises to be a good time for cricket. So essentially, as the boss of Asian cricket, what he was doing is presenting the new calendar. And what was the most important bit of that new calendar was the 2023 Asia Cup groups, where it was India, Pakistan qualifier versus Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. And why was this the crux of the issue? Because this tournament is scheduled to be played in Pakistan, and they announced that it will be in September. But Pakistan as host were not informed of it, and that's where the sparks started to fly. So Asian Cricket Council announces the calendar, says it's in September. Note that they've not announced the venue. They've just said it's going to be in September. But if you go back to previous statements by Jay Shah as the boss of Asian Cricket Council, he said that we'll have to play at a neutral venue. To which Najam Sethi, the new PCB boss, says, thank you Jay Shah, and you can see a lot of sarcasm in his tweet, for unilaterally presenting the Asian Cricket Council structure and calendars for 2023-24, especially relating to Asia Cup 2023, for which Pakistan is the event host. While you are at it, you might as well present structure and calendar of our PSL 2023, the Pakistan Super League. A swift response will be appreciated. This is what Najam Sethi said. You know, as I said, there's sarcasm there, saying that, listen, you have announced when the Asia Cup is going to be, but you haven't consulted us, the hosts of Asia Cup. What he probably is aiming at is that, you know, you need to ask us, is September fine? Do you have any other things happening during that time or not? And so you have not even consulted us. So now that you're at it, tell us when to do PSL as well. So there's a lot of sarcasm there, and he makes that point on social media. What's really interesting after this, what Najam Sethi said, you know, he came exclusively on our platforms, on AajTak and Sports Today, Najam Sethi, and in that exclusive interview goes on to tell why he's disappointed, what is it, you know, is the core issue, why is it that he put this tweet out. Let's just listen in to Najam Sethi exclusively here, and then we'll get back to the details here.
एक टेलीफोन कॉल कर लेते, हमसे कंसल्ट कर लेते. ये यूनिलैटरली इस किस्म की चीजें करना कोई अच्छी बात तो नहीं होती, जबकि एक पूरी काउंसिल है और मेरी इत्तला के मुताबिक किसी को कंसल्ट नहीं किया, खुद ही सब कुछ कर दिया. तो क्या इसका ये मतलब है कि अगली दफा जब मैं प्रेसिडेंट बनूंगा तो मैं भी यही रास्ता इख्तियार करूं, खुद घर में बैठ के अनाउंस करता जाऊं कि सारी काउंसिल के क्या मौक़िफ़ है? अच्छी बात नहीं है, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए.
So Najam Sethi, one expressing disappointment, and the other saying, and that's very interesting what he said there, is that, listen, this Asian cricket, you know, presidentship or the chairmanship goes by rotation. So today the BCCI personnel may be heading it, tomorrow I might be heading it, and if I start heading it, would you like me to announce these things without consulting the other boards? Would you want me to do that? So there's a veiled threat as well that's coming along in that soundbite that you just heard of Najam Sethi. What happened after that? Swiftly, the Asian Cricket Council, based on that news that you saw on Sports Today, came out and express this. This is the press release that they sent out, and where they say the calendar was approved by its development committee and finance and marketing committee in a meeting held on December 13th, and then communicated to all participating members, says to all participating members, including the PCB, via an email dated. They've also given the date, specific date, as December 22nd, 2022. It goes on to say, while responses were received from certain member boards, no comments, and this is very crucial, no comments or suggested modifications were received from PCB. In view of the above, Mr. Sethi's comments on a social media platform where he is referring to Sportstar Ken Sports Today platform are baseless and are vehemently denied by the ACC, that is the Asian Cricket Council. So what's really interesting is that they've actually given the date when the email was sent, and they said we'll let PCB know, and if they had any issue, they should have communicated it back to us, but they failed to do it. However, now it's my word against yours. So ACC is saying we sent a mail out, that's the date. PCB on the other hand is saying no mail was sent to us. We were not even consulted in it. What the details actually of this are, which I'm adding on, is that decision was taken by the developmental committee of Asian Cricket Council, and what the Asian Cricket Council is saying that, listen, in the developmental committee there is no representation from Pakistan, hence this decision was taken. Once it was taken, we let everyone know, including Pakistan. But the interesting bit is Pakistan is saying, okay, you may have decided in the developmental committee, we may not be a part of it, but we were the host, at least you should have asked us. You haven't. So is one person's word against the other. They say the mail had been sent, they are saying that we received no such mail. But the good thing about electronic communication is that you could actually prove it. I mean, you really don't need a physical copy, and so if someone really investigates the matter, you can take a look at whether the email was sent on such and such date or not. What this does now, this India versus Pakistan does, makes for very interesting things that will follow. So this might turn into or snowball into a much bigger controversy. That's because, remember, as I said at the start of this video, the venue has not been announced. Most likely it's going to be a neutral venue. How does Pakistan take that? Just to be on the defense of the Asian Cricket Council, remember in 2018, India were the hosts of the Asia Cup, but because of political unrest and Pakistan may not have wanted to come to India, they organized it in a neutral venue. So if India were the host, they organized it in a neutral venue, then why can't Pakistan, being the host, also allow it to happen in a neutral country, simply because of the the geopolitical situation that India and Pakistan find themselves in. So there is precedent there, and it's not unusual if the tournament has to be shifted. What will be interesting will be 2023 is the ICC tournament that is to be held in India, the 50 over World Cup. So if this tournament is taken away, firstly, will Pakistan participate in that neutral venue in the Asia Cup? They should, just as India did in 2018. But will a aggrieved Pakistan, after this tournament is taken away from them, will they want to come to India and play the 2023 World Cup? That would be interesting. But remember, we must make a distinction here. We need to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. That means if you're comparing Asia Cup hosting and that being taken away, compare it to an Asia Cup. And if India did it, so should be with Pakistan. 2023 World Cup is an ICC tournament, and in ICC tournaments, the stand that boards have had that they will play against each other because it is a tournament of repute, a multinational tournament. So that will be different, and you can't have the same yardstick saying that, listen, you didn't come for Asia Cup, so we won't come for the Cricket World Cup. That may not be fair if Pakistan were to do that. What do you think of this entire controversy? We'd love to know your thoughts. So do drop in a comment, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the content that we present to you, and if it gave you some information and in-depth knowledge about the entire controversy. And don't forget to share it with your friends as well. Thanks so much for watching.